Hello and welcome to StudyIQ English, your one-stop destination for being successful in the UPSC Civil Services exam. Welcome to today's current affairs video where we are talking about the tremendous contributions, the courage and the persistence of the National Disaster Response Force, that's the NDRF in India. Just few days back on 5th August 2025, in another spate of climatic tragedy, the Dharali village in Uttarkashi district of Uttarakhand was hit by severe flash floods. Reason being excessive to torrential rainfall that hit the Kheer Ganga river, causing unexpected flooding, the loss of lives and property, and ultimately a tragedy where many innocent residents of the mountainous state once again became victims of an unknown climate threat. But this is not a one-off episode. Almost every year, either in the pre-monsoonal or in the peak monsoon season, there are so many sensitive geographical areas, whether it be in the states like Himachal Pradesh or Uttarakhand, or whether it be in the northeast India. Flash flooding and landslides are a common sight. Something similar is true of the coastal Indian states whenever they are hit by flooding during the monsoonal seasons or during storms and cyclones. We know that India has a varied topography, making us excessively prone to the threats of climate change in the long run. But the responsibility of the government is actually to adapt. And a key aspect of climate adaptation is being prepared to face the calamity with best possible coping mechanisms. And here comes the role of NDRF, once again, by its relentless hard work and support. The workers, the employees of the NDRF have proven that India is doing and achieving newer milestone when it comes to disaster management and disaster response systems. So what is NDRF? The National Disaster Response Force actually came into being. It came into origination after the Disaster Management Act of 2005. The real reason was that in 2004, when the tsunami had hit the Indian Ocean, which led to an unparalleled disaster for human lives and property, the coastal areas were swiped away in a matter of just few hours. In the wake of this disaster, the government realized that we need to step up our disaster management response system. And hence came the Disaster Management Act of 2005, which led to the creation of NDRF. Now, NDRF, therefore, is a parliamentary organization that works under the Ministry of Home Affairs. Having said that, let's understand that the primary objective of this body is to provide a timely, efficient, effective response to both kinds of disasters, be they the natural disasters, which are only increasing in the last few years owing to global warming, heat waves, forest fires, and, of course, tectonic shifts. But apart from these, even man-made disasters, anthropogenic disasters, which include either some kind of an accident in a factory or some kind of a fire. All these are also taken care of by the NDRF personnel. They administer not only immediate humanitarian aid relief but also rehabilitation. Now, one of the key objectives also is to search and rescue the victims of the disaster. Today, yesterday, and the day before, all the national newspapers were replete with images of how bravely and courageously, despite the odds of the situation and facing a danger to their own life, the NDRF personnel were busy finding the body of those who lost their life from the debris of the accident site. Apart from that, they are also saving the lives of those who are trapped inside them. Now, this therefore acts as a supplementary force to the State Disaster Response Fund. The action that they take is immediately in the case of a severe disaster situation. Now, as I said, One key aspect of the role of NDRF is also to provide rehabilitation, which is a very crucial step given the trauma that victims of disasters face. Now, to the affected communities, they administer proactive measures like providing food aid and medicines. Apart from that, they also take care of some kind of preventive action, which means providing early warning systems. Now, remember, after the 2004 tsunami tragedy, India was one of the countries that was in the front line when it came to implementing the tsunami early warning system. Such preventive measures go a long way in saving people's life and in protecting them, making them pre-ready, pre-prepared for any tragedy that is bound to happen. So that's again one role of the NDRF here. It also believes in consistently training themselves, giving training to the people who are living in geographically sensitive regions like mountains and river valleys. They also teach them mock drills regarding evacuation in real time. And therefore, capacity building is one of the specialized functions that NDRF actually performs through its trained employees. So now, when we talk about the NDRF, we must mention the role of the Disaster Management Authority, the NDMA. With its logo right here on the screen, it is the top body. It's the apex body in disaster management in India. It is headed by the Prime Minister of India as its ex-official chairman, and it is a statutory body. It's created by a law, by a statute, making it a body that came into birth once again after the Disaster Management Act, the DMA of 2005. So it also maintains a very multi-hazard approach. Now, hazard means a danger. It means a peril, any kind of tragedy that may happen. So when we say multi-hazard approach, we mean that under this authority, personnel of the NDRF are trained to deal with multifaceted kind of disasters. Not only the disasters of climatic nature or man-made nature, but also disasters that take place in various kind of land areas, geographies within Indian, society. So let's understand that it addresses a variety of accidents and disaster which could threat human life. Now, the ultimate aim is to create a safer and disaster resilient India. So whether we talk about climate adaptation mitigation, whether we talk about being prepared for disaster, the word resilience here is a very deep word. Resilience means the elasticity that can be created among individuals and communities so that they can rebuild their lives after being impacted by or through a grave disaster. So resilience also means being preparedness, how prepared you are in terms of men, material, finance and coping mechanisms, and that's what these people do. They also talk about preventing, preparedness, and then of course mitigation, trying to solve the problem in real time as early as you can after the disaster has taken place. So they work on a very sustainable model by consistently improving the quality of the employees, by training of the personnel, by actually doing mock disaster exercises or drills so that they know how to act, by using more advanced sophisticated technology like the AI and the information technology based systems to monitor an upcoming threat in a given region. They also act promptly once notified about a disaster that has taken place. So today the role that they are performing for India, for its people, is nothing short of marvelous. And for the 2025 year, the theme that the NDRF has declared for itself as a part of its motto for this year is the year of training, which means they also strongly believe in enhancing and capacity building on a continuous basis. Because let's understand that the nature of disasters has also been changing with more climate changes, with so many kind of tectonic changes that are happening, with so many regions in India's mountain belt, especially the younger Himalayan belt, the Shivalik belt, of course, being extremely prone to earthquakes and landslides, it is important that personnel of the NDRF continue to upgrade their skills to face even more challenging situation tomorrow if it might be. So it will only improve the fitness of these people. It will prepare them further for such situations. And now with this quick discussion, let me follow it up with the UPSC IAS 2014 question. Now it is a mains question, and let's see whether you can answer the question after today's discussion. The question says, drought has been recognized as a disaster in the view of its spatial expanse. Now, by the word spatial, we mean geographic. When something is spread across a huge area, we say it's spatial spread. So, spatial here means physical or geographical. We know that drought is a very common problem, particularly in the drier states, which do not receive the sufficient share of southwest monsoon in India and which lack the perennial flow of rivers, and also the states which are too much dependent on the underground water for consumption and agriculture. So in all these states, water being dried up, drought is a common phenomenon. So it is also something to do with temporal duration. Now the word temporal refers to time period. So you must remember these two words because it's quite a common UPSC vocabulary. Many questions in the UPSC main across GS paper 1 to 4 will use words like spatial and temporal. So spatial is always the space, the geography, while temporal always refers to time frame. So here we are saying that over a period of last few decades, drought as a problem has been spreading far and wide in India. Of course, it is a process that happens slowly over a period of time, but its impact on the vulnerable communities, like the tribal communities, the women community, of course, we talk about the poor communities, has been even worse. So in this situation, with a focus on the guidelines issued from the National Disaster Management Authority, discuss the mechanisms, discuss the processes, and how prepared is India to deal with a likely El Nino and La Nina fallout. We know that this temperature phenomena often leads to a lesser monsoon or sometimes a complete disaster in terms of monsoon. Okay, so both these phenomena are quite important geographical terms, absolutely determine the flow, duration, and the extent of Indian monsoon. So kindly try to answer the question if you can. See and highlight the role played by the NDMA in mitigating the disasters if, owing to these two effects, El Nino and La Nina, rainfall completely gets dried out. There is very little monsoon. How prepared are we to deal with a drought situation? And also suggest some possible solutions that can be taken right from the interlinking of rivers to creating better damming projects or anything that you think you could propose as an innovative solution. I'd love to see your answers, and in case you want to answer, you can post it in the comment box down below. With that, I take your leave for this video. Do like, share, subscribe, Study IQ English, and all the best.